Welcome to the elevator. We've been so long to get you here. You're finally here. What'd you think? Well, how your experience?
It's been a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, such a cool space. And we're just so excited that we're going to have some video from here. Thank you for having us.
Tell me the origin of Pink Sky. Where did it come from? How long's it been? First there was a trio, now a duo trio. Tell me the history and the origin of Pink Sky.
I'll let Ryan take this one.
Angelica and I started playing music together as a new way to connect after we both experienced some difficult life moments. And so I had been writing mostly piano music, actually mostly waltzes. And Angelica bought a drum machine and everything transitioned over to 4/4. We had a nice house beat going. And for our first couple of years, we were just playing really feel-good dance music to try and connect and have fun.
Yeah.
You know, you speak of keyboards and waltz, the beauty of waltz, and then I hear the drumming, and it's almost like a jazz drum. Was there an influence that you had that said, I want to play drums, and who would that have been?
Yeah, my background in drumming is definitely comes from that sort of American traditional jazz school, a lot of improvisation. And this has been my first time dipping into more electronic music. This has been an entirely new experience. So melding those worlds of kind of maybe a more fundamental approach versus more like hybridizing the drum set, introducing electronics. All of that's just been a really interesting journey. I don't know, and we're kind of learning as we do it, kind of like, building the plane while we're flying it.
Well, that's what I love. It's
Yeah.
these waltz and jazz collide, and then your beautiful voice. Then you're singing about a bird. It's almost like, are you that bird? I can't put you in a box, which is good. I've always said years ago, I really hope there's musicians that will carry on this electronic sound, or even the sound of like a Tangerine Dream or an Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or and you're doing that. And how does that feel to be doing that? Because it's not easy doing what you're doing.
It feels really amazing. I enjoy almost every minute of it, except, for, of course, all the technical difficulties that come with playing electronic instruments.
Yeah.
But especially with Jordan joining the band, it's been like such an amazing experience, and he's brought like a new like dynamic quality to the music.
Yeah, that's especially been really interesting because a lot of the parts that we're playing, especially from the album we just released, Total Devotion, a lot of those parts the drum parts were written by Angelica. Like most of those parts were written by Angelica in a lot of ways. So like bringing those to life on an acoustic drum set has been really interesting because there's certain sounds that are difficult to try and capture acoustically. So we just got to get creative. It's sort of like, putting the lab coat on and just seeing what happens and just not being afraid to try stuff. That's a lot of it.
And it's got to be a challenge because especially if you're using synthesizers or older synthesizers, I was listening, Joe Jackson was talking about there's a device that he uses in stepping out. They don't make them anymore, and if that breaks, he can't do that song. I can imagine without the rhythm before you joined, that's a lot of, I hope this works tonight. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
you all look happy because you're all helping each other out. You're like, this is helping a little bit.
Yeah, having Jordan in the band has dramatically decreased my stress level for exactly that reason. I mean, for many reasons, but that's part of it, is that I know for sure the drums are going to work. Whereas before, we used to bring not only synthesizers, but Angelica used to bring her drum machines to every show. So we were, for the first 3 or 4 years, running completely analog signal paths out of hardware boxes that
cross our fingers, hope it works. And we didn't have vocals either, so like all of the pressure was on those instruments. And this feels like a bit more relaxed, even though the music's quite a bit more intense.
You say dance music. Is there any retro acts that you just absolutely love and would like to emulate? I mean, if you've got to dance, who do you put on?
That's got to be more for you two. Because that's not my background. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like a lot of it is I'm still in that like exploratory phase. I'm learning all of these artists while we're talking about the influence of those artists. So you two, that's much more like your world for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit interesting because although we love dance music and we started out playing it, we came from very much an outsider place. We don't have really the pedigree or the listening history for a lot of traditionally well-known or regarded electronic music. We both grew up listening to rock. So Pink Floyd, for instance, is
Yeah.
like one of the
Huge
bands
influence.
that's
Okay.
been most influential for me. But sometime in 2016, I had a friend introduce me to some European artists who are contemporary, who are neoclassical, mostly piano-based, but they're merging electronics with their sound. And when I saw that, it was a light bulb moment because it was the first time in my life where I felt like I could have access to electronic music without a computer. And so that's really what started it all, is watching some of these artists perform really immersive, really compelling sets without a computer. And I wanted to start emulating that.
How do people correspond with you, download your music? Where do they go to get Total Pink Sky?
Well, most of everything we have is on our website. We have all the social links, we have videos and art projects because we consider ourselves an art band. And all of that is at pinkskymusic.com.
Our music's also on Spotify and Apple
Okay.
Music and all the big streaming places.
Where do you want to see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully playing some pretty big spaces.
Like, what's your
Yeah.
your number one space you want to play someday?
Red Rocks is on my list.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I know you have
Oh
a
my
spot.
Yeah. For me, I just want to play to the biggest crowd. For me, that like, if we could land a spot at like Coachella, right? And where, oh my gosh, could you imagine the sound of the drum set, the sound of the synths in such a huge space? Like that's just like the sonic quality of that would be insane. It would be absolutely mind blowing.
Well, once you play there, you got to come back to the elevator, okay?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Best of
Yeah,
luck.
of
Thank you.
course.
Your music's beautiful.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.